Grayson, today we're talking about Andor Season 2!
They're all coinciding at the same time, everything kind of going to crap.
I mean, that's the thing about Star Wars, is that you can find a little bit of everything.
To be honest, I think it was perfectly done.
It hits the ground running with the action. You know, everything that we have has already been set up.
Cole is shirtless now.
No.
What I see is the beginning.
Hello there, everyone, and welcome back to Mortis FM, a Star Wars podcast. I am Grayson, I am sick, and I am one of your hosts. And with me...
I'm Cole. I'm mostly always sick. Grayson, today we're talking about Andor Season 2! Oh my god!
Andor Season 2. Andor Season 2.
Andor Season 2. Andor Season 2. Andor Season 2.
Yes, we're talking about the first 3 episodes that dropped.
Wait. Hold on.
Nope.
Here at Mortis FM, we are recognized for our talents and our accolades, right? And so Disney decided to send us, by us I mean me, a very special T-shirt that, just to recognize where we're at. The world's #1 Andor fan. So I just hold on. The T-shirt is customizable, actually. So thank you, Disney, for recognizing the world's #1 Andor fan. It's a template in progress, but they wanted to send me the prototype, and so here I am. You're welcome, the world's #1 Andor fan and guest, talking about Andor Season 2 today.
I have to make it very clear, we're not affiliated with Disney or Lucasfilm, but hey,
I can dream. What are you talking about?
Yes.
They totally sent me this shirt. Don't you see the license logo?
For audio listeners, it is absolutely not a piece of paper taped to Cole's pure black shirt that says in Sharpie, world's #1 Andor fan. It's definitely not that. It's actually a shirt, guys.
That's a subjective interpretation in case that would actually be the shirt, which you don't have to worry about. Just imagine the best thing with like the Disney logo just slapped on there. It's bigger than even the text, and it's kind of obnoxious. But yeah,
well,
I wanted to know where we're at. So
yeah. Well, thank you for sharing. You are the world's #1 Andor fan, and I need you.
I have the shirt that confirms that. So thank you, and you're welcome. Thanks. Yep. Great.
Well, we're talking about the first 3 episodes of Andor Season 2 that dropped just this past week. Episode 1, 1 year later. Episode 2, Sagrona Tima, and Episode 3, Harvest. I'm not going to be doing
Harvest.
Not Blue
Regular Harvest.
Yeah, not Red Harvest. That's a book by Joe Schreiber. That's a prequel to Death Troopers. Anyway,
this piece of paper is gonna make so much noise in my mic the whole time. I can hear it just go like. Okay, you know what? Just set dressing. All right, it's gonna go.
Cole is shirtless now.
No. I said it. Oh, okay. Man. All right, we gotta. No. Hold on. There we go.
Beautiful.
So,
I can't see any of the text on it.
You can't even see it. It's way too bright. If I was... Yep.
There you go.
Yep.
There you go.
Okay.
Okay. We gotta lock in. It's all right. It's fine. I'm not going to do a recap this week because we're going into the assumption that you have likely watched the first 3 episodes of Andor Season 2. If you haven't watched them, go do so. It is worth your time. Oh, you got it?
Yeah,
beautiful.
I got it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Okay, perfect. So that being said, I'm not going to go into a full-on recap. Naturally, we will talk about events as they progress. Cole, what were your thoughts on genuinely all 3 episodes of the Andor Season 2 premiere?
Well, as the #1 Andor fan, I believe that my opinion on the matter is severely and comprehensively educated. Mm-hmm. And so I will say it bangs. Really good stuff. I think that I think it was a very strong opening to the season for me. It feels different from season 1 in the sense that like it hits the ground running with the action. You know, everything that we have has already been set up. It's simply 1 year later. Cassian is he's down and dirty with rebel activity. And I just it makes me so excited for what we have to see left in the season, you know.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. Especially like the first 10 minutes of episode 1, I was like, "We are so back,
so good,
dude.
We're so back. We're so back." Okay,
these first 3 episodes are, like you said, I feel like they hit the ground running. And to be honest, I feel like the scope of the show is a lot bigger this season. I think season 1, which I think was a good thing for the season, was that it felt a lot more contained in its locations and everything. Like you didn't get a ton of variety in a lot of different places. It was either like Coruscant, Ferrix, or a few other little places, but it didn't go to a crazy amount of locations. In these opening 3 episodes, we get a lot more places to explore with very dynamic environments and people and events happening that are all they're all coinciding at the same time, even down to the very end of the 3rd episode of just like everything kind of going to crap, it feels like.
Well, it's very fast in a way. Like it's not fast in the way that you're getting kind of whiplash from it, that like the show is going too fast for you to handle. But it's definitely different from season 1, where season 1 very much takes its time and it's very slow because it's all this build up over the course of I don't know, a couple months really. And it really you get to know Ferrix very intimately, but with season 2 we have 4 different 3-episode arcs, right? That all have to do with a certain period of time. And so I'm assuming the next arc we're going to have completely different locations and completely different situations. And so you kind of have to adapt to what is going on in these 3 episodes. And for our locations, well, we have a few of them. I think this is the first time we actually see CNR in canon, and also maybe Legends. I know that CNR, I believe it's like CNR Fleet Systems, like the ship company. I know about that, but I also know that this is like the first time we've really seen the planet. And that looks cool. I really like the Imperial base on it. You know what? Let's just drop into it. Let's just start talking about episode 1.
I think the only connection that I personally know in canon to, I don't know if it's pronounced CNR or Cyanar. I've always pronounced it Cyanar Fleet Systems.
Right.
But it doesn't, I don't know if we ever really hear it. I know one of the rebel pilots in Star Wars Squadrons is actually the daughter of the CEO of Cyanar Fleet Systems. Her name is Grace Cyanar. And which is really cool. But yeah, when this opened up, I was like, oh, okay, this is a pretty heavy-hitting ship crafting facility for the Empire. And I loved the whole, like, it being like this cold kind of winter mountain like area. I don't know, that just felt very very cool to me.
It feels like I don't know, if the Empire ever took over Hoth, but they established a solidified base there. Seeing the range troopers, like those snow range troopers, was cool again from Solo. I liked seeing those guys again. That was fun.
Yeah, they were really cool, like the armored like snow trooper essentially, which is really sick. I mean, even down to like when the guy has the rocket launcher and Cassian like dodges out of the way. Dude, I have to just like, I gotta get it out there. That TIE Fighter is one of my new favorite ships in Star Wars, dude. Okay,
so that was in my notes. I was like, the TIE Avenger is like one of my new favorite ships, man. I love how, and this will be explored more when we talk about the further episodes, but I love how complicated to wield this ship is. I have a feeling that this is entirely intentional to be anti-theft, you know? So like, if you want to be able to pilot it, you have to specifically be trained on how to do it, because this thing is alien to the core. It is built to outlast and outgun and outmaneuver rebel fighters. it is also meant to not be stolen. Because as I'm sure the Imperials have gathered by now, a lot of their stuff gets stolen all the time. And so I'm imagining, imagine the guy that designed the TIE Avenger. He's like, oh, come on. Come on. That was supposed to be foolproof. My
Cassian
God.
had a rough time getting out of there. And I'll be honest, I loved that. It was so entertaining to watch.
Yes, it was really funny just watching him hit everything that he could.
I mean, immediately he
actually
pushes the thing forward and just slams back, you know?
Yeah. Actually, this kind of gave a good view as to what I would kind of like Star Wars Starfighter to look like.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's very in-depth and very I don't know, kind of it circles around the movement of the ship and how it works and kind of adjusting to it and seeing that and also seeing it outrun those other TIEs, and those are the ones that show up in Rebels, right?
They're the Inquisitor ones, the TIE Advanced V one, not the X one, to get the curved wings.
Those are so pretty, man. I mean, I guess it would make sense that they're at that facility, the Cyanar facility, because they've got the high-tech stuff.
I saw those cool. and I remember I included one of those in my recent campaign. That Mara Jade flew one of those, which I was like, oh, there it is, live action one. Dude, the weapons on the TIE Avenger, like what you said about the Starfighter thing, I love all of the cockpit shots of him and seeing the heads up display and his hand through the arm controls and
I gotta pilot that thing, man.
It's
I gotta
so freaking cool, and I love how it's bigger than a traditional TIE fighter. Where I think it even has 2 or 3 seats in the back, behind the cockpit, which is obviously not traditional to a regular TIE fighter at all, which is meant to be one person in it. But when all those stormtroopers walk in and they just see him just hitting everything, and he just mows them all down with the Galaxy. Oh my dude, it looks. I felt like I was watching a movie. It was so high quality.
When he mows down all of the stormtroopers, and it makes that iconic TIE fighter sound when the blasters are finished firing, and it's just kind of I don't know, like a reverb of it. I was like, oh, this sounds so good, dude. And then you see him punch several holes through the hangar door, and then he just immediately goes through. It's so great.
Bro, rest in peace, that range trooper, when he just gone. Literally does not exist anymore.
It was very Looney Tunes looking thing. He just explodes. It's terrible.
I want to know what that cannon is, because I'm that is very high power if it can punch through blast doors like that,
Well, if I recall, when the Maya Pei rebels are investigating the ship, they're saying all sorts of stuff about it, the tech person. She is just talking about it. She's like, I don't even know where the battery is. I don't know where it gets its power from. Which I kind of feel was connected to one of the Dedra scenes. It just made me think about that. But I assume we're not going to see the TIE Avenger again in Imperial use.
No.
But hopefully it might be repurposed for Rebel use. Very cool.
That's what I was kind of thinking, because I'm we've never seen. I definitely think there's some design similarities to the Avenger, to the TIE Silencer, which is what Kylo uses in The Last Jedi specifically, and he uses a modified version in Rise of Skywalker, where it's kind of got those narrow, almost interceptor-like wings, but they point forward and backwards. But it kind of makes sense why they wouldn't have, because they do say it's a prototype, right? Yeah,
it's a prototype. He's for one, Cassian is wearing the outfit of a test pilot. And when I first saw him, keep in mind I hadn't really watched the trailers because I didn't want to quote unquote spoil myself. My brain makes a lot of interpretations, so I could have thought of anything. When I first saw him, and I didn't know that it was Cass, I was like, is that an Inferno Squad? Because just because the color scheme, I know that it was orange and kind of navy-ish, but given the shadow that you first see him, I thought that it was black and red, and I was like, Inferno Squad? Whoa. But no, that
would be a crazy opposition for Cassian. And to be honest, if you look at those the test pilot suit and the Inferno Squad suit, they're very similar. Even down, they have the symbols on their heads, like the red Imperial symbol. So yeah, that is not. I love the Inferno Squad design, but I'll be honest, I think the test pilot design is so slick, dude. I love that outfit so much.
Is it new? Because I haven't seen this before. So we have another trooper variant, guys.
Yeah.
Fellas at Beyond the Dune Sea, we need you to roll back your trooper tier list.
Add it.
We got
add
a new one.
list. Yeah, there's another one. No, it's. I saw Connor comment on a post from Will. He already said it's S tier. So, but there you go. Put it in there.
Okay, very good. Put it in there.
Yeah, that from the Avenger itself to the type or the pilot design, I absolutely love it. And that opening in general was so action packed. I love just the whole presentation of it. I love that it doesn't like you said, it doesn't waste time putting you in the action, and then immediately he ends up going to, well, I mean, we can say this now because you don't know this for like till the end of episode 2, but he ends up going to Yavin 4.
Yeah, a big drop there. I was like, I was like, what?
Yeah.
No way! Like I was so excited when I saw that.
So what did you think about the whole Maya Pei guys and their kind of like the, I want to call it like a side plot, even though it's integral to the main plot, but it's like this whole deviation of like Cassian is just stuck there. What did you think about that?
So it was equally amusing and frustrating.
Yep.
Not frustrating in a way that I'm like, man, I really want to be somewhere else, but just in a way that I needed Cass to get out of there, and I needed him to stop being around these bickering insurgents,
idiots.
right? Yeah, and I mean, like, look, we all love some rebels, but it's great to see a lens where, not all of them work well together.
Nope.
I didn't even notice this until like I had kind of taken a look back at it, because I had recognized the name Maya Pei, and I realized that it shows up in season 1 when Saw is talking about all the different like rebel sects.
Like Maya Pei is a Neo-Republican or something like that.
Maya Pei is a Neo-Republican. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, but this makes me curious. What are they doing on Yavin 4?
That's what I'm curious about. Yeah.
Because I don't think you would really want to be there, because it is, I mean, it's cursed off the wazoo. Like, even after the rebels set up camp there, I can imagine it would still give them great trouble. But namely, I'm assuming that this has something to do with them returning to Yavin 4. Yep. So I wonder, like, when they set up shop, maybe that'll be an arc, the rebels setting up shop on Yavin. I don't know. But I wonder if we'll see like these band of rebels again, or if they really just died in the jungle, right? Because they got nowhere to go. So
we don't really know, first of all, how those rebels even got there, and we also like, because Cassian was trying to meet one of his friends that was like in their old ship from Ferrix. And that guy's
Porco.
Yeah. He like never shows up, and he's presumed to be dead. And then I'm like, where did these guys come from? Did they crash land here? Did they also have a base here? How did they find this? Like, did Luthen make this the designated point of meeting? Like, there's still a lot we don't really know. And I mean, maybe we're not really supposed to, but obviously we know that they're going to go back to Yavin 4 at some point. So
yeah, I mean, as far as we know, it's a drop-off point. I'm assuming that the Maya Pei rebels are there because it is, again, a drop-off point for rebels.
Yeah.
Whether that's because it's, common knowledge that they all kind of meet there for dropping off certain things, I don't know.
Yeah.
But these rebels, man, they were not... They were not just well put together at all.
Oh, very incompetent.
So much infighting, dude.
I love how Cassian the whole time he's just like, I just need to get out of here. Like, and that was the best thing, is because when he finally is able to get away, and like through his like clever little trick of like getting the blaster out of the compartment and everything.
Yeah.
I was like, I sympathized with him so much, where I was like, dude, this is your chance. Like, they're all fighting. Just get out of there. Screw these guys, Yeah,
I thought it was really funny how he kept on bringing up good points that the group that he was with should have already been able to understand, like, hey, it's raining, you should start collecting water. Or when he's like they haven't made sound for a while, you know, that something could be happening. And then the de facto leader of that group, he's like, I was about to suggest that, you know.
Yeah. They're just
and
like,
then, and then Cassie is like, it's a good idea. Yeah, it's a good idea,
bro. Even the
it's
opposite
very
faction,
funny.
they're like using ropes to like pull the TIE, like the TIE Avenger, like, is it like 50 centimeters an hour or something like that? I was like, oh my gosh, bro.
And then they come up with this Star Wars version of rock paper scissors, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Where it's called Challenge, I believe.
Yeah.
That's funny. I haven't heard of that game before.
No.
I'm wondering if it's new or if it's Legends. Either or, it's funny. It's very funny.
Yeah, because when it was like a 4-way rock paper scissors, like the people across and then the other people across, and anytime they'd win, they'd be like, you know.
I'm like, I don't even know what's happening, but it's funny.
Yeah, it's very cool. When Cassian got his old blaster out of the compartment, I was like, yes, because listen, guys,
let's go, baby.
I love that blaster. I love the MW20 Briar pistol. It is and so when I was like, it's not gone, it's still alive, and he just
it's still there.
Dude,
is that the same crate that he had in season 1 where he put all his credits in?
I think so, yeah, because I think because again that ship is the one that Bix and Willman and Brasso and all of them escape in at the end of season 1. It's that like weird like kind of fan in the front, kind of with like a Y-wing style back. But it's honestly kind of interesting because I feel like Cassian in these 3 episodes gets the least amount of plot, other than maybe Dedra and Cyril.
Yeah, Dedra's side of the pond is very fun to watch.
Yeah,
I really like Dedra's stuff.
Well, I feel like we should go and bring that up. Dedra and Cyril are a couple now.
Yeah. Look, I don't want to be that guy. It's kind of cute. I don't know. Like, you know, Dedra's a Nazi. It's kind of cute though, you know.
I'll be honest. When that happened, I was like, what? Because Dedra cannot stand Cyril in season 1.
Yeah, but I suppose when he saved her life on Ferrix, they had a lot more room to talk, perhaps.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, but he's just like really committed. He's a freak, but you know, he's just really committed. That's why. It's kind of funny that Cyril has like this head position in the fuel like company or whatever that he's doing. When he's introducing that new guy and like he gestures around to all of the different cubicles, the guy looks away for 1 second and Cyril snaps so loud to get his attention back. I was thinking to myself, oh man, if somebody did that to me, I would be so angry. Like, why would you gesture to all of these things and expect me not to observe the rest of the company?
It's the continuation of Cyril's hyperfixation on his job and his duties and needing
perfection.
A sense of purpose. Yeah, perfectionist, literally. Like, because I mean, the opening of season 1 is him snapping at all the Morlana 1 Corp Sec guys and being like, do it overnight.
Let's go!
Yeah, like, that's just, like, he's got that type. But then again, he's also like, it's you can tell it's definitely because the way his mother raised him, which we of course get more more from his mom, it's not great, but at the same time it's interesting to see like how much he bites back against his mom, like even more. And I knew when we see Dedra in the apartment, I was like, and they were like speaking, I was like, oh, I'm like, she's prepping to meet his mom. Like, that's what it is. Yeah.
I actually, I guess we can go ahead and talk about, you know, her meeting Cyril's mom, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know why I expected for her to not be receptive to not the way that Cyril's mom acts towards Cyril, but the way that Cyril is just kind of, I don't know, downtrodden, right?
Mm.
I don't know why I feel like that. I don't know why I felt like she wouldn't cover for him. I feel like she would be more mad at like just his unwillingness to bite back. But then instead, she kind of doubled down and she kind of told Cyril's mom what's what, man.
Yeah, dude. She laid down the law.
Yeah, and Cyril's mom it's just like, oh yeah, okay, my bad.
Yeah, I think she kind of almost appreciated it in a way.
A game respects game, one would say.
Yeah, she's like, oh, you're okay, like you're gonna like, I appreciate that you're in like, yeah, in some weird way that like she enjoys. I guess that, I mean, Cyril's mom is very much like very organized, very regimented, and so is Dedra in that way.
Yeah, I think that it's because Cyril does bite back a little bit towards like what his mom says, but it's not enough, right? He always kind of ends up backing down, and so I feel like Cyril's mom, in a twisted way, seems to respect that kind of, even as Cyril says, like those who dare to just kind of bite back and challenge authority.
Yeah.
And Dedra seems to be very fond of Cyril by now.
Yeah.
And she will not tolerate more anecdotes about Uncle Harlow, or any. She said I will allow visits.
Yeah.
But she's like, yeah, no, I'll allow visits from time to time, but it's gonna be on my terms and it's gonna be infrequent. I just hope you know that. Hope we're on the same page.
It's like 2 times a month. You like, he'll call you, blah blah blah, like setting out all the rules, and her just being like, okay.
Okay. Actually, and she was not kind to Dedra initially either. She was very passive aggressive, like,
shake her hand.
Right, didn't shake her hand, saying courtesy is few and far between. It's seldom found, right? Yeah. And then insulting Dedra's upbringing, which is very interesting. That Dedra's parents were criminals.
Yep.
And so she was raised in, was it an orphanage or a correctional facility or something like that?
Yeah, like some like imperial like relocation orphanage thing. Like, yeah.
Which I mean, we had already spoken about this in regards to season 1 and like where people's personalities can come from in regards to their place of society. But this makes perfect sense as to why she feels the way that she does towards the Empire, because it's the only thing that makes sense for her, right? But she will not tolerate insults in regards to that. With Cyril's mom saying like, growing up without a mother. Right?
Yeah, no, you didn't have a mother's love or whatever, and she's like, I didn't know we didn't know we were missing or something like that.
We had everything that we needed, kind of thing. So something that I had noticed about Cyril's mom, that I thought was funny, and I'm sure that this had already been observed in Andor season 1, but I had never thought about it before, and I never heard about it. She wears all orange, which is funny because with the corpo color being like orange, basically, with Cyril's kind of de facto color being the shades of orange, wearing the orange hat, and then you see his mom is just completely emblazoned in orange, right? She's just head corpo, pretty much, which is just funny to think about, that like, that's the vibe that she gives off, that she is the top of the food chain in regards to that corpo-like mentality, because of course she would be.
Didn't she also mention? Didn't they in the episodes mention something about? I can't remember if this was in season 1 or in these 3 episodes, but they talk a little bit about Cyril's dad as well, right? He was an adventurer, and then he said that never came back.
Something like that. She said that he was an adventurer, that he indulged in his fantasies or whatever. Yeah, and that's why she won't allow Cyril to do the same thing. I wouldn't be surprised if that's why Cyril had those action figures of like the clone troopers.
Oh,
right?
yeah,
that could have been from his dad. Who knows who his dad was? Honestly, I mean, imagine him just being a like crazy, actually important character. That would be very funny. Yeah, but that could be something.
It seemed like his dad was like a thrill seeker or something like that, or like, I mean, then just kind of went off and nowhere. And I think that is why she is so against that kind of mentality, of rejecting any type of creative side, and it's all business, all like regiment. It's all being like this just perfect cookie cutter, no deviation. And which I mean is also why, I mean, even Dedra is like that. But Speaking of Dedra, I guess we also should talk about probably the more crucial scene, which I believe is definitely going to be the setup for the next couple arcs.
Yes.
And that is the scene. I believe it is on the Maul Teen Divide with all of those Imperial guys, including my guy, Director Krennic.
So Krennic is back. We both knew, a lot of us knew that Krennic was going to come back.
Yep.
I gotta say, Ben Mendelsohn, he's hamming it up just as much as ever. I think Krennic, he fits right back into Krennic's shoes like that. It's so quick. It's so natural.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite Imperials, like on one of my favorite parts of Rogue One, and so I was glad when he was coming back. Intriguing that he is, I would say, working around, which is just the way of being an Imperial, especially the way of Krennic, is trying to kind of work around some of the other higher ups within the Empire, specifically Tarkin.
Yeah, he mentions him. He's like, Yularen, Tarkin, they'll hear about it on their own time.
Yeah.
The Emperor, I've spoken to the Emperor personally, yada, yada. Who knows if he actually did? I mean, he could have, but...
Yeah. It's honestly up in the air because we see in Rogue One, he's just, when he talks to Vader, he's like, oh, so you'll speak to the Emperor, like, almost like he's never really spoken to him before. But, I mean, honestly, it's they're none the wiser. But we get the plot threads that they are seeking to harvest the natural resources of Gorman, which is kind of at a crucial point, like in the tipping scale, and they basically need it for the materials for like renewable unlimited power, as he
when he said that, I was like, that's like the Leonardo DiCaprio meme.
Like, very cool meeting. And this was the type of meeting that I thought, like, oh, maybe someone like Galen or Tarkin or Thrawn or whatever would show up, but it also makes sense. I'm kind of glad. I'm like, oh, it's cool that he like handpicked certain people that he knew that he could trust. And specifically, I mean, Dedra is the one that like is the person to be like, he's like, I already know you've already got this solved. I want your assessment,
Yeah. So this is an interesting point to make. I really like seeing Krennic from a position of being the highest authority in the room. Because in Rogue One, you are usually seeing him from a perspective where, at least in a lot of his big moments, you're seeing him in a perspective where he is under someone, aka Tarkin or Vader or something like that. And so seeing him in a position of authority where he can really strut his stuff and show off his self-importance, as he would probably like to proclaim.
Yeah.
He's very confident and actually seems, for better or worse, very good at what he is doing. Because I mean, there's a number of reasons as to why he has done so well in the Empire, but it's because he's one of those people that ends up getting towards the top because they just are that good at what they do. Yeah. And the way that he talks about like Gorman, and then trying to kind of, I think for one, it's kind of scary watching these people around the room talk about the logistics of deep core mining a planet for its resources and having to relocate 800,000 people, right? And but not talking about the morality of it, talking about the logistics and the finances. Yeah. And Krennic going like, "Oh, we'll it'll be difficult, but we'll find ways to move them around."
And even down to Dedra's being like basically turn them into rebels so we can justify killing them.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Krennic bringing in these two hype men for trying to convince different ways to get this project started, or to get these individuals more on board with the project. Yeah. And these two guys are just hyping up each other, going like, man, those Gormans, I can't believe that they would subvert all of these Imperial regulations and all of our codes. And then even Krennic is like, all right, that's enough. I think they get the point.
They get the point now.
They get the point. That's funny.
Yeah, there was So what was the deal? Like the spiders, they just like that's not part of the energy stuff. That's just kind of the main thing they trade is they use like the twill from the like these harvesting spiders, which by the way really creep me out. But that's besides the point.
Yeah, I think they were just showing it to for one, give a debriefing on the culture of the planet, but also strictly to show the Imperial officials how they can try and, pun not intended, but like spin the web of this situation here.
True,
right?
Yeah.
Because they're trying to, I don't know, even one of the hype guys said like, and the whole spider thing, we can turn that, make them look like spiders and devilish creatures, right?
Yeah.
To kind of make them enemies of the Empire.
Paint them in a poor light. Yeah. What did you think of the like kind of like 50s style infomercial that they had of Gorman of like visit Gorman, like what did you think about that?
So I was never adverse to it. I think when it first came up I just kind of laughed for a moment. One thing that I have noticed is that season 1 of Andor did this to a smaller extent, but season 2 is very good at grounding societal norms of today and just in general and themes and motifs and all that into Star Wars. Like Dedra listening to classical music while she waits for Cyril's mom to arrive and like thinking of like different outfits, and then the club music in Chandrila later on, which that's a whole nother thing there. But then also the infomercial with the very as you said 50s style both music and the kind of radio announcer. It is kind of nice seeing Andor once again ground us in this way, because of course they would have this sort of thing. It's like what Solo did, where they brought the Imperial March into the Imperial advertisement of joining the Empire. That is just like a recruitment sort of advertisement. So it's good. It's funny. It's very funny.
We know, because we know like the HoloNet exists, and this is kind of like one of those things that like I feel like you would see in the HoloNet. Like we know, like in Legends, for example, and I think this might be canon as well. That there was like HoloNet dramas of like Luke defeating the Emperor and Vader, and that was what made him so like renowned.
Wouldn't surprise me at all.
Like so this is just another one of those things of like this is an advertisement for the planet of Gorman. Like we know, and like okay, even Clone Wars has like tons of like posters, and I mean Dexter Jettster's diner is just a 50s diner, bro. Like it's so
a 50s diner, and there are radio stations and there are nightclubs, and there's that's the thing about Star Wars, is that you can find a little bit of everything everywhere. It's just that it's all a little bit spacified, and that's fine. That's okay. We love it. It's great.
It's not stuff that I think you actively think about, but then when it pops up, you're like, oh, it can sometimes feel out of place, but like then you think about it and you're like, well, no, like okay, like I remember when they included like toilets in Rebels, it's just like people got to use they call them like refreshers or whatever, right? And it's just like, like they have, you don't really think about it because you don't really see it, but then Andor is really good at being like presenting these things and being like, this is just a normal part of the galaxy, because these are more normal people that they're not, it's not this big grand. In like the movies, in Revenge of the Sith, you don't have time to show toilets, bro. Like,
because there's the grandiosity of things in the space opera that is the Skywalker saga. But there's also certain things like in season 1 of Andor where there is cereal, and little action figures. Actually, there's even an ATST puppet in one of the episodes for season 2.
One of the kids on like Mina Rao, that's like they're like playing with an ATST, like
there's all sorts of stuff, and so it's not me going that shouldn't be in Star Wars. It's me going, oh, that wasn't mentioned, but it makes sense, because we've for instance we've had jazz in Star Wars since day 1 at the cantina. We've had milk. If we can have milk, that's a simple thing, right? I feel like we could do 50s infomercials, right? We could do that.
I remember when it showed up and I was like, this is funny, but I do enjoy this.
There's also propaganda posters too.
I think about
Yeah.
I was thinking about like when Anakin has like the Ben Quadraneros poster.
Yes.
In his bedroom.
The Boonty Classic
Yeah.
poster. Yeah, really good stuff.
Yeah.
It makes sense. It's funny. Like, imagine Vader being in the same room and watching that and going like, I think it's too long, you know? Like,
Yeah,
just kind of giving edits. That could be kind of funny. But yeah.
Yeah, that's really the bulk of kind of what's going on with Dedra and Cyril, and I think it kind of echoes season 1 where like they kind of become more prevalent later on. I definitely think we're gonna get, especially as we build to the Gorman Massacre, we're gonna get a lot more with Dedra and that side of the story. But there's 2 other crucial parts of the story. I guess we should probably talk about what's going on with my gal Mon Mothma. This stuff is awesome. This was so cool. So well done. I loved seeing the culture of Chandrila. I loved seeing the dilemma that she has within her family. She's still putting on this front. We are on the homeworld of Chandrila. We get to see like the marriage practices, and of course having Luthen there right in the mix of it was
Luthen's just prowling around.
Yeah, like you have all of these major players in this one place, and it's very anxiety inducing on top of this 3-day like marriage cycle for her daughter that she really does not want her to go through, leading up to what I am dubbing and many else are dubbing the Mon Mothma crash out, which I think is just great, dude, because that's exactly what it was.
Rebellion scene, yeah.
What did you think about all this stuff?
Chandrila is really cool.
Yeah.
It's very refreshing to see it in depth for the first time in canon. I think it's been shown as like a kind of pseudo silhouette in a comic before.
Yeah.
But it's really nice to see her home planet, which is beautiful, by the way.
Yep.
But something that I really did not expect was that they go so in depth through the Chandrilan culture.
Yep.
Very in-depth, like practices and rituals and wedding ceremonies and dancing and outfits and music, and like it is so in-depth.
Yep.
And I'm really here for it because I love when Star Wars gets all cultural. They did the same thing with Ferrix.
Yep.
Where that's more like a community sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But Chandrila is like this is a planet-wide culture. Sort of vibe. And I think that if anything, it accentuates the Mon Mothman story of the show. Like Mon Mothma arc. I honestly think so far this is her best arc throughout the show.
Yeah.
I think that it was really good in season 1. But she didn't really go. She didn't go very far outside of the Senate building, her own apartment, and Luthen's shop.
Yep.
Here we're going full Mon Mothma. I feel like, if anything, she got a lot more attention than Cassian did in this first arc, which I think is deserved because I feel like she didn't get a lot to do in the finale of the first season.
It was a lot of build up, you know.
Yeah, a lot of build up, and we found a way to integrate Luthen into this. It was great seeing both Luthen and Clea back in action. It was great seeing Vel there. And also Vel with the red hair. I'm now interpreting this as she probably dyed her hair blonde initially because of her kind of rebellious attitude towards her culture.
Yeah.
I feel like that's probably the case, and you can see how she's taking these traditions, which is not well. Yeah. But
even in season 1, she was
as bad as Mon.
Yeah, because she's not really in the midst of it. Like, this isn't obviously her daughter and everything. But yeah, I knew I had seen on like the press tour that the actress had like red hair, but I just assumed that was her normal hair color. And then I was like, no, that's actually her hair color in the show. Okay. And of course, Cinta is nowhere to be found. Until the very end.
Until the very end. Okay, so let's talk about Tacoma.
Yeah. So I've talked to multiple people about this, and I want to hear it from you, and to help confirm my suspicions. So what exactly is going on with the Tacoma Mon Mothma stuff?
So, as far as I have interpreted it, I haven't looked at any official sources or like YouTube channels or anything because I just want to talk about it before I get into other interpretations. From what I understand, he helped kind of embezzle this like foundation thing for like hedge funding for the rebellion and all that, as it was set up in season 1.
Mhm.
But initially it was set up in a way that, oh, he's a friend to Mon, he seems like a good guy, and you can trust him. But in season 2, in this first arc, it is revealed that, well, now that he's going through a tough time, he's going through a separation, he's having some money troubles. When people have trouble, that's usually when their true colors show.
Mm-hmm.
And he's getting drunk frequently, and he comes up to Mon and he's like, hey, so about that thing that we did, I'm realizing that I'm not getting anything from that.
Yep.
You know, and he's a friend with Skolden, and the more and more that he talks to Skolden, it seems like if he wasn't that way before, Tay is definitely getting influenced by the greed and kind of the, as Tay said, stepping up and being like outspoken and forward towards what you want sort of thing.
Yep.
So he seems to be influenced in that sort of way, but he's asking Mon for his reward.
Yep.
Like for his money. He wants payment back, because as he said, he is like, this rebel stuff has really taken these rebel insurgents. He might not even be talking about the foundational stuff that he's already done. He might be talking about rebel activity has already been putting some putting a wedge in his own monetary gain.
Yep.
And since this is giving him trouble, and since he is frustrated, and since he's not getting anything, he is threatening to blackmail Mon Mothma in case something doesn't happen. And whether or not he has, like, I don't know, good intentions behind yada yada yada, what maybe he's bluffing, who knows, that is a threat, and we can't deal with it. As far as Luthen is concerned, in the rebellion, he's connected to you, you're connected to me, I'm connected to so much that everything's going to be destroyed.
Yep.
So he's got to go.
He's got to go.
Because even if we pay him off now, that number's never going to end. You know the number. It's unending. He's always going to hold that over your head. He's got to go.
Yep.
That's how I interpreted that.
Yeah. I think, I mean, yeah, basically, that was how I interpreted it. When I first watched it, I was confused because, like, Mon Mothma gives this reaction, and I was like, I'm like, why is she giving this reaction? I'm kind of confused. And I went back and I was like, okay, like, he's being kind of dodgy, cagey, but essentially he wants some reimbursement for his investment because he's going through a hard time. And because they kept saying, like, oh, the number, and I was like, you mean like the financial number, like the money number? But then when it was shown up, like, and when everything was going down, and then of course Cinta shows up, which that scene, just all of the convergences of the plot lines and everything, which we haven't even gotten to all of the people on Mina Rao, but with like the music, and then Vel and Cinta, like Vel doesn't even know where Cinta's been, and then just Cinta showing up, and you're like, Cinta is one of the most like locked in people of the rebellion. Like, she is the person that Clea and Luthen really bring in to do that kind of dirty work, you know? Like, she's just very focused. And so as soon as you see her as the taxi, you're like, oh, he's so done, dude.
It's like, oh man, well, time's up for Tay.
Yeah.
Right?
It sucks, dude. It's brutal because Tay it was a real one in season 1, and it's like, man, like, to get that, like, that true nature revealed, you're like, dude, but like also Luthen being like, all right, I got to take care of him, you know?
Well, it's so at first I myself was like, this feels unbelievable for a character like Tay that I've seen so far. But to be honest, we didn't know all that much about him especially when he's in a bind.
Nope.
And so we are experiencing this from Mon's perspective because he's shown to be such a great guy. But then when Mon is talking to Luthen, she's like, I never expected this. I didn't think that would be... I didn't think he was that kind of person. And Luthen says, people fail. That's our curse. And which is a great line, by the way. He's not even specifically dogging on Tay. He's just like, people fail. That is our curse. That is what happens to us.
Yep.
And when this happens, something's got to go.
Yep.
And God, something that I really, really like is that when when he makes an inference on what has to be done with Kolma, Mon is like, I don't know what you mean. And Luthen just says, how nice for you.
Yep.
And then she backs away from him, and the camera is no longer focused on him, so he fades into the blur as the music starts picking up, and then it leads into the Mon crash out scene.
Yeah.
Really, really good, because it's a great emphasis on Mon's character, which I think is very consistent both in the books and how she's been portrayed otherwise, is that she has a very nonviolent approach to the rebellion, and continues to do so long after the Empire is gone. Very nonviolent. But seeing this as like a destruction of her moral values in order to achieve what it is that she that she supports is the exact same thing that Luthen is talking about in season 1, where he says, I burn my soul and my life for this sort of thing. I'm not going to be able to see the light of day or gratitude or happiness, because this is the thing that I have to do in order to make sure that what I want to be done gets done.
Yep.
And now Mon sees that, which I think is just really the highlight of this arc.
Yeah, dude. It's so good, man. I mean, it truly it starts off with a bang. And I mean, it's really, you said it excellently. I cannot add anything else to that. That was so well done. Yeah. The other little detail that I have is just like the distress that Mon goes through, like during the wedding, of like that little conversation with Leida, and being like, I'm going to tell you what I wish my mom told me, and this just really heartfelt plea to her daughter. And she's saying that, like, her mom, like, Mon was saying that Mon was saying her mom was drunk.
Mom Mothma?
Mom Mothma. I mean, I guess that's what she is. And then Leida just slapping her in the face with, I wish you were drunk. Bro.
Dude, look, it's hard for me to be mad at Leida.
Yeah.
But Leida is so hard to deal with, okay? As I can only I guess it's a very reasonable look into what it is like being a parent.
Yeah.
And it's only fitting that Leida would grow up this way, being, the child of Mon and Perrin, right?
Yep.
But that's really hard to say something so heartfelt to Leida, and then Leida saying, I wish you were drunk. That's tough, man. That's really tough. Because eventually we know Mon Mothma's gonna be right. But doesn't matter, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely a very accurate depiction of like parenting a teenage daughter who is definitely has like kind of a rebellious attitude, especially kind of has like that bitter take towards her mother. But yeah, it's interesting because like we don't really know what happens to Leida or any of those characters, like Perrin or Leida or any of them post Return of the Jedi. So I'm really intrigued to see like how that pans out, Yeah,
because I have a feeling that she's going to be cutting ties with Leida and Perrin when she leaves Coruscant, right?
Yeah.
I really doubt that. In fact, I feel like she will set. Oh man, this will be heartbreaking. I feel like this is how it's going to happen. She's going to set it up in a way that makes the two of them blameless, because as we know, they don't know anything about what she is doing, and she's making sure that it's kept that way so that she can protect her family. Which is another part of the rebellion thing, where she is essentially burning any potentiality of having a good relationship with her family, so that she can continue to perpetuate this, to continue to perpetuate the rebellion. So when she leaves, I feel like, who knows what's gonna happen with that? I really don't know.
Which, I mean, I think that's gonna happen. It's got to happen within the next couple arcs, which I'm so stoked for, because like
we have Erskine, right? He's the guard from Rebels. He's there.
So like I didn't realize that was Erskine Samaj. To be honest, I forgot about that guy in Rebels, and so when I saw like some posts of him, I was like, oh, well, that's kind of cool. Like, that's neat.
Yeah, I need to preface. I'm not some like Rebels super holocron or anything. I'm not. But I had seen it online, and I was literally like, oh, that's kind of cool. But like, if he's there, then I think it is setting up her flight from the Senate. I feel like it
Oh.
definitely is.
I mean, considering we know, like, obviously she's in Yavin 4 by the time of, like, the season 3 of Rebels and then Rogue One and, like, it's really going to connect those issues. I think, if I had to guess, this is my speculation, I think the Gorman Massacre will be the next 3 episodes. I do think it will be. I think it will. And I think the very end of episode 6 will either be her about to flee or that being like, or like by the next episode she will have fled. Like we may not even see it. I would like to see it. I would love to see.
I want to see it.
Yeah,
it's
like I want to see her
important for
get off the planet. So it might be a thing of, again, we think about Andor in these arcs and they're like these crescendos that build up to these kind of big moments, and I'm like, whether she's there or not, or maybe she's there during the Gorman Massacre and then that's when she leaves and like Cassian is there and has to get her out or something.
Okay, yeah, that was what I was gonna say. That could be
Okay.
a really great way to converge those arcs, is have Cassian be a part of that kind of rescue team.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and he could even
cool.
take her to Yavin, and that's the start of the base, you know?
Yeesh. Imagine.
So, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, the Mon Mothma arc and just including all of that is really good. I was so invested in that side of the story. But the other side that I was really invested in, and it's kind of the last crucial piece of the puzzle, is all of our Ferrix natives with Bix and Brasso and Willman on this grain planet called Mina Rao. Who they have been integrated there for quite some time. Brasso's got a girlfriend, dude. Okay,
Yeah.
the scene that we open with, I believe, in Mina Rao, which is
Man. Oh,
Bro,
yeah.
I was not, because we talked about it a little bit in our season 1 recap of like how much of a freak that Dr. Gorsk guy is.
Yeah.
What a cool way to introduce that PTSD for Biggs.
Dr. Gore's jump scare, my guy, in the mirror.
Yeah.
Oh.
As soon as it went to that, I was like, is this gonna be like it felt like we talked about it in the recap, that it was like I mentioned he was very much like Star Wars Jonathan Crane, like Scarecrow,
100%. Yeah. And
man.
it makes me very sad that Bix is still dealing with that, because like of course she would be. But it is very sad. And she continues to have terrible Imperial experiences throughout this arc. I mean,
yeah, I mean, I feel like we should talk about it at least briefly. I think and I'm not going to use any like super explicit terms or anything, but
Yeah.
the assault that Bix experiences, I think there's already a lot of controversy in the fan base of whether this was needed, whether they should have shown this and things like that. And to be honest, I think it was perfectly done. I think it implies everything you need to know. Bix does come out on top, which I think is awesome for her character. And I think what would have happened had she not fought back. Star Wars is not exempt from this type of subject matter, and I think there's a lot of people that like, I don't want that in my Star Wars. We talked a little bit about it before the show, but like, I truly don't get that take, because first of all, we know Andor is already a more mature show in general. I mean, in these 3 episodes we had like somebody's like decapitated leg and their like goggles and like it already deals with very mature themes, and this is just another step of that. But like, the Imperials are bad people, and the people in the galaxy are not good. The entire galaxy is a wretched hive of scum and villainy. That's kind of the point.
Well said.
I mean, that's connecting it back to the first movie. Slaves are a big thing. Genocide is a big thing. Like, slaves for nefarious purposes are, I mean, slavery for all purposes is nefarious, but you get my meaning. That is what the Hutts are doing. What did people think that the Hutts were doing with Twi'leks? Twi'leks are one of the most trafficked species in the galaxy. This is a fact because of their appeal. That's the whole reason. They are dancers. They are prostitutes. Like, that is the whole thing. The Empire is not exempt from this. The Empire directly even works with criminal syndicates. That's why they work with Jabba the Hutt and with bounty hunters. Like, they don't care about these things. And I think there's this big take that, like, the Empire wouldn't stand for this. And I'm like, guys, the Empire doesn't care. The reason Imperials do this is because they know they can get away with it.
The Empire wouldn't stand for this. Fellas. They blew up a planet in the first movie. I don't know if you're aware of that. There is child slavery in the Phantom Menace. Anakin Skywalker was a child slave, indentured servitude sort of thing. We see more than that. You know, to feel like this wouldn't be in the Star Wars galaxy is willful negligence.
Yep.
I don't understand. When you say, like, oh, that isn't needed, why are you so averse to it?
Yeah.
All I'll say is, what are you afraid of? You know what I mean?
I understand the take of, like, hey, I want to show my kids Star Wars. I don't want this to show that to them.
Of course.
Of course, yeah. But I do think there's been a big cry for a lot of fans of, like, they want more mature themes in Star Wars. And George Lucas has always said that, like, Star Wars is, you can kind of put anything in Star Wars. You can kind of tell any story that you want to. And that's what everybody wants. Like, they want horror in Star Wars, and they want, like, they want all of these different genres. And Andor, really, I mean, this is, like I said, been a known fact. It's one of the most, if not the most mature project in Star Wars. It's not really meant to be shown to little kids. That's like, and to be honest, I don't think little kids would enjoy it anyway, because it's supposed to be more mature. It's supposed to be more politically challenging. It's, I mean, truly, it is the intensified version of war in Star Wars. You know?
Well, yeah, 100%. And also, like, I think people will get a little confused with subject material and how it is presented, because there is a difference between showing an explicit scene containing that versus a scene that gives the implication of that.
Yep.
I think that, and I'm not saying that Andor is a kid's show, it's not, but I think that shows can give certain interpretations or inferences to imply certain things to make a child or a young adult think on the implications of those things. Because think like Avatar: The Last Airbender. It did not do this. Like, it didn't specifically do, like, SA or anything like that.
Yeah.
However, it did bring themes that would be considered very mature in a way that is presented to a child to make them think. Because it gives children respect. With the ability to think and process certain actions and motives, and to have the thought of, is this wrong? You know, because there's lessons there. But I think strictly when people are saying the Empire wouldn't allow this, do I think that this sort of act is like a decree or a regulation in the Empire? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
However, in a situation, as you have said, like wartime, this happens. In a system that perpetuates planetary genocide, exploitation, lack of due process in law, and all sorts of other very bad things, that is something that would start going through that would start passing through the cracks. And I will say as well, in systems that don't do that, it still happens. So I think Andor, at the very least, is not trying to be up in your face about that in a way to offend you. It is trying to give you due respect by saying, hey, in a galaxy that all sorts of themes take place, real stuff occurs. Real people have panic attacks. Real people endure travesties. There is genocide. There is cultural gentrification. There is all sorts of things that is happening, and Andor is simply showing the audience's respect by displaying these things to you by saying, hey, it does happen. So yeah, chill out. You know, that's all I gotta say.
And I mean, George, he pulled directly the inspiration of the Rebels versus the Empire from various wars in history, whether it's World War II, whether it's the American Revolution, whether it was, at least predominantly, when he created Star Wars, was the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
And that stuff, SA, was happening happens a lot in wars.
Yeah.
The people don't talk about it a lot, but it happens. Like, because
Yeah.
war is nasty. It is not. There is a lot of blurred lines in war. There are as much like and this is not me to make like a specific statement, but like good people do bad things and bad people do even worse things. You know,
People
like
fail. It's our curse.
Yep. And so, yeah, I mean, and I'm like, dude, this Imperial was being creepy. I mean, literally, I didn't think it was going to lead to this. In the note from the second episode, I was like, the Freako Lieutenant needs to back off of Biggs. That's what
Freako Lieutenant, yeah.
Yeah, that is what I put, and I was like, wow, they went there, and I wasn't, and it's meant to make you uncomfortable. You are not supposed to enjoy the scene. Now, you're supposed to enjoy Bix beating the crap out of him, because that's awesome. You're like, let's go, Bix.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's supposed to be like, to hammer in, like, not even the Empire is exempt from this, you know? And well, are we saying that like every Imperial would do that? No, obviously not.
No,
but
I
like,
mean, even you're right. Not even any Imperial would do that. Like even the guy that's with the officer, when Bix says what happens, the guy that's outside, he says he's dead now. Just come out, you know?
Yeah.
I don't even think that he would have done that guy with the pistol would have done like anything serious or anything like that. But he ended up getting shot because he was with the Empire and Vix was in trouble. But that sort of stuff, it's very real. Very real.
I think it was really well done. I applaud them for going there, and I think it was done, for lack of a better term, very tastefully and a very meaningful and impactful way. And it just helped us again with like the calamity and the chaos that was happening all at the same time, like I said before. Even down to, I mean, it was so nice getting the like slice of life of what it was like on Mina Rao, like seeing them get to like have some respite and be happy and apply their skills elsewhere, like Willman and his kind of girlfriend like crush that he has, and Brasso getting his own girlfriend as well that he's happy with.
It was
and
cute.
It was just, Mina Rao was a very beautiful planet too. Like, I just love getting to see them be mechanics and farmers.
Yeah, they have that little painting of Marva as well. Really sweet.
Dude, oh my gosh. I don't know who painted that, but I saw that and I was like, dude, that is brutal. By the way, guys, my dog is barking. There's nothing I can do about it, so I apologize. I'm just gonna go ahead and put that out there. But yeah, I saw that and I was like, oh, not the painting of Marva. Dude, B2 playing with the kids.
Oh man,
B2 is so sweet. I want to give him a little hug.
I'm worried about B2, by the way. Okay, can we talk about
they leave him?
They leave him, man. I mean, he's still got Brasso's GF, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll be fine. But I'm worried. I'm worried about him.
Dude, it's always, someone was telling me that like it's always Cassian shows up just too late, you know?
Yeah.
Whether it's when Marva passes or like it's always something that stops him from getting there. And like, dude, Diego's he doesn't say anything. It's just his physical reaction as he's flying away, and they like knowing that Brasso is dead. Oh my gosh, dude, Diego Luna is insane. He's so good, bro.
Yeah, so I'll take this moment to go ahead and talk about this scene here. So it's the last scene in episode 3 in this arc, and it is interlaced back to back with the Mon Mothma crash out scene with the blasting music, and Cass flying away with Willman and Bix. The music doesn't stop when it cuts over to Cass, all right? And the implication that I took from this is that it's done so for a reason, because as it zooms in on Cass's face and it shows you Mon dancing, like they're both kind of in this, as I'm trying to interpret it, party that never ends, right? Because the song doesn't end. It is a smash cut ending to the credits. It just completely cuts, which is essentially to give off the implication that it just doesn't stop. And I think that that's kind of what's going on in his head right now, that like it's going to be the same thing over and over again. This is what it feels like going time and time again against the Empire. They will continue chasing you down. You will continue losing friends. You will continue losing places where you call a home. And that you just keep dancing. You keep going along to the music because the music has not stopped. So you have to keep dancing. You know, that's the interpretation that I took from that, and I think it also was such a great ending.
It feels like it's drowning you. You know,
it's
like, and it's just this constant swell. And dude, when like you said, that's where it immediately just cuts the black. I was like, dude, this show is a masterpiece. It's so good.
It's so good, man. Season 2 starts off with a bang, and it's so in line with Andor season 1. I feel like we're right back in the action. We're talking about 10 out of 10 content immediately. And I can't wait for next week, man. It's just a couple more days.
By the way, one little detail I forgot. I almost forgot here in my notes. Dude, another Rakatan invaders mention.
Yeah. Okay, so, all right. Thank you for bringing this up, good sir. This is another relic of Luthen's, all right? Now, we know that the guy is a collector, but he has he's got a fixation on Rakatan invader stuff, okay? However, something very fun for Legends fans is that it was Skolden verbatim said, "This is a statue from the Rakatan that was recovered after the Rakatan invasion 25,000 years ago at Chandrila when they looted Chandrila and took it, right?" That is in line with the Legends timeline of when the Rakatan uprising and invasion happened was 25,000 years ago. So we are sticking with canonical timeline, or with the Legends timeline here. So now I'm just getting more puzzle pieces for the Old Republic, okay?
Well, I mean, I think for me, it's the second tease where I'm like, are we setting up who the villains might be for the Dawn of the Jedi movie? Because the Dawn of the Jedi movie is supposed to be 25,000 years before the Mangold movie is in development. So it just feels like little teases there. So I think they called it, was it the Chandri Merle? Is that what it's called?
I believe so. It was like one of 9, one of 5.
Yeah, and then like some of them got destroyed, and so like and I'm like, oh my gosh, like. I can't wait. It just was when I got that, I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, see, now it's more than just a little wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Now it's twice, okay?
Yeah.
And
punch in the face.
Ironically, I think it happened in the same episode of that it happened in season 1. I think season 1 was like, it was either episode 3 or episode 2, and this
something
one is
like
also
that.
like episode 3 or episode 2, where they mentioned that, but. Look, there's some things being dropped here, and given that James Mangold's movie is 25,000 years ago, Dawn of the Jedi, it's definitely happening. Come on, they mention it now.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen. I'm so excited for that.
I'm so pumped. I love just truly little. You and I go crazy for little lore tidbits like that. You know, like whenever I'm reading a book or I'm reading a comic or I'm watching a show or a movie, and they put in a little insert or insert of, hey, there's this like they're throwing me a bone. I'm like, I love that. I love that so much.
Yeah, I mean the interconnectivity and the world building, right? I love it when things make sense. Please continue to do that, and. I just need to see more of that. I want to see more of Luthen's relics. It was nice getting a look at the shop again. Yeah. I don't know if this was new or not, but there was that suit in the back of the shop.
So that suit, technically that is a new version of that suit because there is a version of it in season 1 that has the spikes on it, but this is a new one. The helmet, it's like an ancient armor set, but the helmet is the original Boba Fett design, which Rako Hardeen has that helmet. When Obi-Wan...
I knew it was Rako Hardeen's helmet.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's like an ancient. It's kind of got that like T with the little like nose right there. It's like it was like the original prototype version of Boba Fett before they ended up kind of doing the more like blank T.
Hey. Ancient Mandalorian?
That I know, maybe. That wouldn't be the first time we've seen Ancient Mandalorian armor, because in Dryden Voss's yacht in Solo, he also has Ancient Mandalorian
That's
armor.
right. Yeah.
And it's a little bit more advanced. It's more like samurai Mandalorian.
Yeah.
So
it's a little playhouse for guys like us. We press the pause button and we're like, just kind of looking around.
We get so much Mandalorian timeline stuff in like the current timeline with of course like Ahsoka and of course the Mandalorian and everything like that. But I really want more ancient Mandalorian lore in the Old Republic.
Me
and
too.
I mean like, listen, like the Dawn of the Jedi stuff, like that'd be cool if there was like an ancient Mandalorian in there, dude. Like that would
It could be cool. There's options. All right, there's options.
Yeah. Dude, this show bangs. This show's so good.
It bangs. Okay, so one final thing I wanted to talk about. Is Brasso dead? Question mark.
He's dead.
You think so?
I don't think he's coming back, man. I mean, that look on Cassian's face, he looks and he's gone.
It really makes me hurt, man, because we don't have any time with him really in regards to that, because it happens off screen. I knew the implication was there when it was zooming in on that aiming stormtrooper.
Yep.
Which F that guy, dude. Should have stayed in the academy and proven us wrong about accuracy, right?
Yeah, he just went one shot. Yeah, as soon as I saw the crash speeder in the field, I was like, "It's over, bro. It's over.
It's so over. We're cooked,
dude." And just the music playing during all of that. The track, by the way, is called Brasso. That plays
Brasso.
Plays the Neomos like bumpin' dance mix or whatever. Yeah, I want to shout out the new composer for the show. I believe his name is Brandon Roberts. He took over for Nicholas Bertel, and he's doing a great job. He's a lesser known composer from what I can tell.
Yeah.
And the music in these 3 episodes were very, very good, and we get We get the more opening music crescendos with the Andor logo, which I'm curious to see if they're all going to overlay with one another again by the end of the season, you know?
Imagine what that's going to sound like when you play both seasons 1 and 2 at once.
Just... It's like the THX, or the
THX, yeah.
Oh my gosh, the THX logo with the swelling. But yeah, dude, I cannot, like, it's crazy because next week we get another 1-year time gap.
Man.
It's going to be like
it's gonna
emotional.
It's going to come back and Mon's still crashing out to the music. It hasn't ended.
She's been dancing for a year. No, like, because when I first saw that the first episode was called 1 Year Later, I was like, are they? I mean, I'm assuming they're probably not going to call every third episode 1 year later, but they probably will have like a 1 year later thing, because Tony Gilroy said each set of episodes is like in a really tight, hectic, like 3 or 4 days, and then a year will pass.
Imagine if it's called just like 2 years later, you know?
That'd be cool.
If it's in reference to the end of
season 1.
Yeah, be interesting if like the first episode of the last arc is called 1 year before. I would kind of like that. It's talking about Rogue One or Yavin, you know.
That. Hey, you're kind of cooking right there.
What can I say? I'm in the kitchen, you know.
Do you have any final thoughts before we do our ritual chat pack?
I think I got all my notes. We're sitting pretty. Great stuff. Happy to be here, super depressed. We lost Brasso. Who else will we lose?
I'll be honest, I was expecting Brasso to die in these early episodes because they kept showing footage. I don't know. As soon as I saw that they were on that planet and a lot of we had not seen any footage of them not on that planet, I was like, I think it's a wrap.
See, that's what my brain does, man. That's why I don't watch trailers anymore. It's like I ruin it, but it's I can't help it.
I know.
I had to watch some of the new stuff though.
I'm gonna stop watching as many trailers. Cole, just to thin the herd here, I normally give you 2 between 124, but I'm going to do number 2. Okay. That sounds weird. Anyway,
should we pause the recording or?
Okay. This is a characters question.
Okay.
One of your favorite dudes. Ooh. Boba Fett hires Jabba the Hutt's remaining Gamorrean guards when he becomes Tatooine's new daimyo.
Yeah.
Would you have done the same? Why or why not? Does he hire them?
He does, yeah. Some of the remaining guards, yeah, who fell on hard times.
Okay.
I think it was the ones that were jailed underneath the
yes,
underneath the palace, because I think Bib had jailed them up because of their failure to protect Jabba.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would have let them go at least.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have hired them just because they kind of, even after Boba hired them, they kind of sucked at their job. You know?
Yeah. I guess he like maybe felt bad for them, but I'm like, I don't know, like.
They made Boba way too soft in Book of Boba Fett, man. Like, he could have been just, but not soft, right?
Yeah, I like the visual of him being like the lone ruler in this palace, you know. Does he even? I'm honestly, my memory of Book of Boba Fett is really failing me. Does he even still operate out of Jabba's palace?
He does. It's just that like he has to go out and do his own stuff because he doesn't have anybody throughout the show.
Yeah.
But I'm excited that he has Black Chrysanthemum, so hopefully that will turn into something eventually. If
that would be cool.
If they decide to do something with that IP now. But
yeah, I would love for them to to include more bounty hunters, but I mean that's besides the point. Yeah, I mean, I don't see why I wouldn't hire them, I guess, but more because it's like, what other choices do I have? You know, like it's kind of slim pickings.
Yeah, I would probably ask them to put on some clothes.
Yeah.
Because they don't wear anything but like the little rag. Even after he hires them, and I'm like, dude, at least get them like a t-shirt.
I would have. I also probably would have got them like a gym or something because, like, I'll be honest, the Gamorreans that we see some in Mando season 2 that are like really buff, and they're like
those are Jabbas for sure.
Yeah, and I was like, Jabbas are kind of bummy, you know? They're just kind of like.
I mean, the ones in Return of the Jedi, which I'm assuming are the same guys, they're like drooling at the mouth, like they're kind of. You know?
Yeah. They're like, guys, we're gonna get you some clothes, we're gonna get you on a diet, we're gonna get you some
full on Boba makeover, all right? I'm gonna get you a gaffy stick. I'm gonna send you out to the dunes. You're gonna hang out with the Tuskens for a little bit. Well, honestly, imagine that being like a ritual for him. He's like, you go out and meet with the Tuskens, and then you come back when you're done.
It would have been sick if he had hired the Tuskens to be his personal entourage.
Perfect. I mean, if they weren't all massacred, right? I mean, maybe he could find other clans or something. And... hey, who knows? Maybe when we come back to him and time will have passed, they would have done him some good service.
That would have been cool. Imagine his armor, but like adorned in like Tusken stuff, dude. Like,
yeah,
that could have been sick. I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess my answer would have just been like, yeah, I guess. Like, why not?
I guess, I mean, like, they seemed like they worked with him without pay, you know? So I would feel kind of bad about it, but, I mean, hey, I could use the help, and then when I get more cash, I can lend some your way. You got a place to stay. It's my palace now.
I was about to say, it's like, you got free lodging, you probably have, there's a giant dead Rancor down there, you probably get some, well, probably he's rotted at that point.
Absolutely rotted.
Yeah, I forget that there's a pretty significant time gap.
Even if I mean, I don't know if I would offer that as food if that were you suggesting, even if it was like a day after. I mean, come on, Grayson. Come on.
Listen, I'm just thinking of options, okay?
All right, yeah, it's fair. We don't have a lot going on at the palace right now.
Because Boba like murked that like droid, the
you know who I am. I'm
Boba Fett. The General Grievous chopping droid or whatever. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, when he interrogates literally.
Good luck to Boba. He's got the Power Rangers, Moped Power Rangers, and Black Chrysanthemum.
Put that man in the Mando movie.
And he's got Cobb Vanth if Cobb Vanth wakes up. Don't know about that.
Oh yeah, he hasn't woken up, has he?
Nope.
That's kind of okay. I'd like to know what's going on with that. Anyway, that's gonna do it for this episode of Mortis FM, a Star Wars podcast. Thank you for joining us as we speak about Andor Season 2. Thank you to the world's #1 Andor fan, Cole, for being here. It is an honor.
What are you talking? Oh, funny you should mention. Well, you're welcome. I'm happy to be here, and thank you for Disney for endorsing me. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Grayson, next week, Andor Season 2, Arc 2.
Next stop, Arc Trooper.
Next up, Arc 2. May the Force be with you.
Yep, I agree.
Yep. Yeah, man. All right.
Oh yeah. Always. My mother be like, my mother.